My name is Bukari. I work with the tourist team in East Gunja, Salaga precisely, and play the role of chairman for the tourist board. We are currently at Wankambai. Wankambai is a stream where the slaves were washed and sent to the market. Normally they would travel a long distance, they get exhausted, they get dusty, and they will have to clean themselves and then go there. During the rainy season, the water flows in the stream and it runs, so it was easy to wash them here. But because we have also a long dry period, the slave masters and the residents decided to make wells. And one of them is here. They made the wells here because it was easier to get the water from here. If you look at the well, you would find that the top is laterite, stone. They would have to break the stone and get down to where they can easily tap water. And from the water in the well, they would use it during the dry season to wash slaves and also use it for domestic purposes. The wells were not made only for the slaves. They were using them for their household activities, for construction and for many other things that were taking place in town, for cooking, for building, for drinking and anything that was about. And because of the slave labor, it was cheaper to construct the wells. And so Salaga at the time was known as a town of 1,000 wells. So if you mention in history a town of 1,000 wells, then you are referring to Salaga. And here at Wankambai, we can count a good lot of the wells around. They have bored many wells. Some of them are silt up, but there are a few that the District Assembly and the Tourist Board are trying to preserve. So you see new construction. They are built up and they have protected the wells around. We've shown you one with the shrubs, but we have cleared just about 3 of them here, so that in the event of visitors coming, you would see them. In the rainy season, you don't need the sit-ins. You would wash and the water would just flow off. They would wash those slaves that have walked a long distance, very tired and getting weak. They come here to wash them and refresh them. They bath some cool water from the wells. So each slave master owned a sit-in, so that if the slaves came and you were interested in them, then you would get them to your sit-in, wash them and send them to the market. After washing them, after the slave masters have washed their slaves, they would add value to them. The value is smearing them with oil to make them look fine. Because it is cream, you use it to heal, you use it to beautify. It could be the hair or the hands, their palms and their heels, if they have any cuts, before they send them to the market. And of course, once you use the cream and the butter, you are looking very beautiful and shiny and presentable for some other person to love to take. But people would come to take the slaves. And so they look at those that are strong, those that are fine looking, and those that have no serious cuts, and they will carry them away. I was just saying that the share nut tree is right here. We will see the butter in the hall. We are now at the slave cemetery. This place was reserved for the slaves who passed on during their movement from Salaga to the south. They came here, some could get ill, some died as a result of tiredness and other mishaps. And it was right for the people in Salaga to find a rest place for them. And this spot was used as a slave cemetery. The slaves that passed on will come and make burials or graves for them and bury them. There used to be a very big baobab tree, and of course the town had not expanded up to this point then. It was a big thicket, a small forest where you could lay them to rest. So they were laid to rest here. Unfortunately, the tree fell some 5 years back. The big baobab tree gave in, and some of the tourists who came found it necessary to put this stone here in memory of the slaves that passed on. And we have kept a priestess here who on every Monday and Friday would say a prayer or come to pacify the disease. It's the slave cemetery for Salaga.
Yanam bando tangbani zungo yanam kat kanana tete yela tin ya bandirgo har to banin ne wo te jirmi dezo di yanam nya ya kai pi on fa sortin adu tu ya kat te yela zungo dabsulungo tin ya bandirgo de te ba kat kanana tete tin ya yiban me ni yan dishele na ummal tan yezo kace yitaya to kuto tam yela ya kam to kuter la yela katriya bandirgo alzuma na tani bihma man koma to ko tiriya me dama timi hal ne to banin bien kadir shamala kai gadira dazo ka ta tiri yala ka tiriya duma na man iciyama.
This is the place where the tourist board and the district assembly have found it necessary to construct a place to preserve some of the things that were used of old, and especially related to slaves. It is the intent of the assembly to bring in some more items, but so far we've been able to gather a few items. We mentioned that Salaga was called a town of 1,000 wells. You see this bar is a very heavy bar, very heavy indeed, used for the construction of wells to break stone so that you could get into the distance. This is a spear, steel. You could also join it to wood, and it was used by the slave masters to protect wild animals from hurting them when they were going around. This is a Danish gun which they were using also to keep off wild animals and also from other attackers, because you could be carrying some wares and somebody could attack you and collect. So if you had the gun, you use that. It's a Danish gun. It's quite a heavy gun. These are the chains, we have the swords, and we have the guns. These are a few of the relics we have around, and we are preserving them for tourists who are interested in seeing them, and or who want to have a feel of them. This is one of the spears. This is a Danish gun, that is a spear, a shackle, a spear, a gun, and a bar. The bar is for breaking into the ground for wells.
Africa has gone through a lot. A lot of history has brought us where we are today. Pre-colonial days, Africa was the beginning, the bastion of knowledge. The first universities in Africa, in the world, were to be found in Africa. We have the legendary story of Mansa Musa when he was going on pilgrimage to Mecca. He carried so much gold that the current so-called advanced civilizations would be jealous, and he gave them out for free, meaning there was more where he was coming from. And incidentally, where Mansa Musa, the region from which Mansa Musa came, it's impoverished today, Mali, around that Sahelian region. We have drought, the desert, and all that. That is, I'm coming from the 15th, 16th century till the present. I'm just going to abridge my narration. You'll see when we get to the wake of the century, the wake of the 20th century, the world wars, they came in. Africa again was a place for the recruitment of soldiers to go and fight the European wars. Europe saw in Africa a place where raw minerals could be exploited. That was where the scramble for Africa came in. The colonialists taking everywhere. Maybe if I will step back a bit, I talked of slavery. Slavery, the slave masters. In the case of Ghana, we have had the Portuguese, the Dutch, the English. They came in, and all they needed was the human goods. The human cargo was taken to the New World, so-called New World, the Americas, where our ancestors worked on the plantations and did all manner of jobs. All these depopulated the continent. And the advent of colonialism, as I was saying, was another device to get cheap labor from our people, and then to get cheap minerals to exploit.